August 2025, InnerPlant hosted a technology demonstration field day in Perry, Iowa that took guests through the 2030 growing season with a walking tour featuring demonstrations representing a different day in the future season. Each stop on the tour showcased a specific aspect of how InnerPlant's technology will shape the future of agriculture. This special Croptastic series of episodes is designed to tell the story of that day and share the demonstrations with a wider audience. This episode features Dr. Christopher Seifert, InnerPlant's head of software product, demonstrating the detection of InnerPlant signal via drone and explaining how data models will help take the guesswork out of future crop management decisions.
So, welcome to our drone demo. I'm Dr. Christopher Seifert, and I run the software shop here. So, how our signal makes it from the field back to the farm themselves, that's kind of my domain. And I'm here to discuss how drones fit into our ecosystem out in 2030. So, where we left off things at the other tent was that the satellite had detected a signal from our plants. And it's a relatively coarse signal, so at something like 5 or 10 meter resolution, we're seeing that there is some stress going on. And as Shelley had mentioned, every farmer does their own unique thing, and many are going to want a more high resolution signal to base their decisions off of. So, in Ops Center, that alert prompts the farmer to create a drone fly path and create a set of AB lines for the drone to fly over and capture imagery. That drone gets out there and gets after it, and sure enough, when you're seeing the pressure from our plants at something like 1 meter resolution as opposed to 5 or 10 meter, it looks a little bit different. And at that higher resolution, some of the spots that we thought were high, that's definitely super high, and some of them are a little bit lower than the satellite was detecting. Then this refined alert, now that you're in John Deere Ops Center, you have all of your other data there too. So you're looking at that, you're trying to see how does that match up with what was going on the last time, back in 2028, that this field was in soybeans. And you know what, sure enough, that high spot of the field where InnerPlant is sending its most high signal alert from had a lot of white mold pressure that you remember, and it was showing up on the yield map as taking a big ding. So probably that disease put out a lot of sclerotia that turned into apothecia in the recent rain, and you're at the beginning of having a problem. Then, in Ops Center here again, you're sending out a work order to a ground rig to go get after it and spray and take care of that problem. Finally, as the year gets to completion, you have your yield data back, and you can see where you applied your chemical and in what amount that varied based on where that pressure was from our InnerPlant plants and what your yields end up being. And if your yield didn't have much correlation to that, maybe you got a pretty successful treatment down. And it's a happy path and good story where the drone imagery refined the spatial resolution from that satellite again and helped you set about a better prescription on your field to solve your white mold issue. Now, outside of this, there's a lot of optionality that drones enable in our system. Maybe folks have a lot of small fields and want to spray with a drone there. Perhaps the fields are not passable because of a lot of recent rain events. We saw that happen in some places this year. Or the field has difficult or complex terrain. So these are a lot of places where a farmer might decide to use a drone rather than other modalities to image and get after solving their problems. That's the future, obviously into 2030. But what have we at InnerPlant enabled so far stepping towards that future? Well, back in 2023, back in California, we had our first field where we planted sensor and non-sensor plants and flew a drone over them to see what resolution and what fidelity we could spot our fluorescence. And sure enough, we proved out that the plants that we wanted to, or engineered to, fluoresce were picked up on the drone, and the plants that we hadn't engineered didn't fluoresce. So check that box, proven proof of concept. Now, when it comes to 2024, we took that a little bit farther, and we, here in the Midwest, resolved whether you could see whole rows of plants, or just a few hundred plants, or just a few 5, 10, down to 1 plant. And we resolved that at 1 meter resolution, an operator can do about 1,000 acres a day. So that gets you to a decent price point, a little more expensive than Brandon and the satellite field over there, but with a lot of better optionality for better resolution and getting under clouds, et cetera, et cetera. We didn't stop there, though. And even this field behind you, we've been imaging that. This is an image from just a couple days ago, where we've been sensing our newest varieties. So we keep improving our varieties every year and making sure that the fluorescence is sufficiently bright to be spotted in all of our modalities. We've also been testing, beyond the green that we have, a red sensor. So at a field at a bit of a distance from here, we've been sensing that red for the first time, and it is also visible via drone. So that's a pretty cool milestone for the company as well. And we just keep proceeding and innovating and moving towards that future where drones are a nice and flexible part of our solution today and in 2030. So with that, thank you all for your time and attention, and happy to take any questions.